And there's a push at the National Assembly to take Nigeria back to parliament. I'm not saying I believe in it, but there's a serious push for that. Always, it's the northern part that will say, no, we're comfortable with where we are, let's continue this. Why? This dilemma, this is a paradox.
I disagree with you.
Please.
First of all, restructuring is not necessarily form of government. There are two different things.
Okay.
Restructuring basically says the current political structure, political and administrative structure in this country is more a negative than a positive.
Yeah.
We need to revisit it. In 1960, we started with 3 regions. By 64, we had the Midwest region, so we had 4 regions. 66, 67, we had 12 states.
Yeah.
6 in the north, 6. For the first time, you had parity between north and south.
Exactly.
Under a northerner.
Yeah.
Gabon created 12 states. Then we had 19. Then we had 23. Then we had 31. I think then we ended up with 36 states. That's restructuring. People want to look at, people are saying the structure of Nigeria is not working. Either there are too many states or there are still people who are not represented. You need to give some restructure Nigeria on ethnic lines. So there are two different things. Restructuring is not necessarily the same as this issue about resistance to change. In most instances, when you see an informed northern opinion that says, stop this thing about restructuring, it's because it's quite clear that many elements in the southern part have adopted it as its agenda for settling scores against the north. They think the north is too big, there are too many of you, and you're not even giving other people, your minorities, a chance. So let's have an ethnic-based federation. We have roughly 360 ethnic groups in this country. You're going to give everybody
A state?
A state, a region. Every region, including the southeast, has minorities.
Sorry.
Even among the Igbo people, you have massive differences. So when you restructure, people say, okay, turn the 6 zones. Turn the 6 zones into regions, and everybody will be happy. In each of those zones, there are also different ethnic groups, different religious interest groups, different interests. Quite possibly the most homogeneous state in the north, quite possibly, is Jigawa State. If you go to Jigawa today, you are going to be shocked by the way in which people identify themselves between provinces. We are from this part of the state. We are from where our emirate is this and our emirates are that. Divisions themselves are not necessarily a problem unless you actually politicize them. So we still haven't got the foundations with the grasp of what we want. When you define restructuring, and I've been involved in many arguments about this, they say, oh, you Northerners, you don't want to restructure. And we say, please tell me your own version of what you want restructuring to be. There are more than 100 versions of this restructuring. Which one do you want? How do you want to achieve it? And pardon me, but I would look at your version of that and I want to see where I fit in.
Yeah.
Just because you have an idea of what you want, doesn't mean I should go along with it. So it's a very complicated system. The solution to all this is not that we don't want to live with each other. It's not that we want everybody to have his own government. What we want is a Nigeria that works for everybody. There are minimum rights and privileges that should accrue to everybody. The poverty levels in the north are intolerable for northerners, but they're also a threat to the rest of Nigeria. So it's not just a northern problem. Nigerians not in the north should worry about the sources of all these bandits and kidnappers, because they are now knocking on everybody's doors. The situation in the southeast that has been allowed to atrophy, and people think, oh, it's just an Igbo problem. They want to lock themselves up on Mondays, not to go to school and market. Let them suffer, so long as they don't bring this wahala in. A nation, people who at least 50% of Igbo people don't live in the southeast. They are the most Nigerianized people. They have a right to demand that something is done in this country because they pay for it. Their case is also peculiar. Yoruba people can't continue just to live in Yoruba. There's a country where they are. The most developed part of the southwest was developed with federal resources. Lagos, federal resources. Lagos is virtually everybody's land.
Yeah.
Now you have a few people who are coming to say, no, Lagos is ours. We make the rules here. We want these things to be. Those are the kind of things we need. So we need minimum level, some parameters that should apply to everybody. Every Nigerian child must have equal access to education, to health facilities, and he or she must be given same opportunities and the rights to grow up to the limit of their abilities, irrespective of whether they are from Yobe or from Lagos, wherever. That's important. Every Nigerian is entitled to protection. The law works irrespective of who you are. There should be no corruption. You cannot steal people's money, whether it is oil money or gold money from Zamfara. You cannot steal money. So until you have a Nigeria that is big, that caters for the interests of all Nigerians, you are going to continue to have this business of we versus you. It's ours, it's not ours. It's ours and it is not ours. God didn't create this country with 250, 300 ethnic groups, many religions, for nothing. He put a huge amount of wealth right under our feet and we don't even understand it.
And
we're fighting over crumbs.
Bickering over
Yes, we're fighting over crumbs. If we had peace and security, and we can talk the way I'm talking to you now and say, listen, we can talk until we can fight until the cows come home, but we don't have to. What are we fighting over? And you said to me, we're fighting over because my group, me and my group, feel you're marginalizing me. And I ask you to break it down. It is quite possible I can understand you.
Yeah.
Where you're coming from and saying, well, yes, but I have the same problem that you have. In this particular area, you don't treat me as human. So it is that conversation we haven't had. We came close to having a discussion in 2014 under the Jonathan
Conference.
But that conference floundered because people turned it into a battle of the same problem that they turned it into a problem when in fact they should have used it to find solutions. And to date, people say, go back to 2014. Have you seen the report?
I've read part of it.
Well, if you've read it, you would see a number of areas where today, if you bring it up, and there are a lot of people who say, I won't touch it. And there are some fantastic recommendations in there. But we never had a chance to do this.
Absolutely. Some argued because President Jonathan lost, because he didn't implement it when it was given to him. He said he was waiting for his re-election. Of course.
He should have implemented some of it.
Exactly.
They were very good ideas.
Absolutely. I agree with you entirely. Sir, it would be remiss of me if I don't ask you. These problems that we're confronted with, we can't continue like this. It has become a cliche to say Nigeria is on the edge. We've been saying this for forever, and it seems we always have a way of pulling back from the edge. But for the first time, I don't know about you, but for the first time, I'm actually worried.
Let me just say this. I think we need to prepare for the long haul. First, agree the democratic process must continue.
Okay.
The problem with democracy is that it doesn't deliver goods and dividends in the manner people think. Every 4 years, you quarrel over records, you quarrel over who should replace who, you should quarrel over whose position you should. It's a very slow and very challenging system, but we don't have an option. Nigerians tend to think, these politicians, state capture, the politicians have captured the country, they've captured our resources. It is the same people, forget it, they will never fix Nigeria. What democracy does is that, difficult as it is to believe, it gives you choices. Maybe not tomorrow, but in the longer term. I think we need to reinforce the democratic process in such a manner that bad leaders don't rig their way back into power. That's a very serious issue. Just look at this. Why on earth would today the ruling party has 30 or 31 governors? This is the most shameful commentary on the quality and the integrity of our leaders. When they started all this poaching of governors, I think they had about 18 or 19. Just imagine, without shame, without regret, without anything, governors drop the mandate given to them by people and walk over, and then suddenly they are APC government. Senators, members of the House of Reps, all sorts of people. Simply because politics has been equated with power has now become the only way in which some people find relevance and wealth. Basically, that is what it is. So, when you have a democratic system, but the key operators of democracy are not motivated by the desire to offer good governance, but to actually accumulate wealth. And they capture power. This is a classic example of state power. Until you break that fault, and one will break it, it will still be through the democratic system. I believe, and I'm serious about this, it's very frustrating, it's very painful to see repeat bad people claiming to be elected. But the bottom line is that this is the only way to go. Until we break the back of these kind of politicians and send ordinary people, I mean, Nigerians who don't have billions and billions, but have tons and tons of integrity and knowledge and skills and the patience to learn and the willingness to tolerate failures and also to engage the public and to show compassion to the weak and the poor. Well, you can't fix this country. The danger with waiting is that we keep moving at great speed towards collapse, which is where we are. So you have a serious problem. The longer you go through elections and the elections just keeps bringing you successively worse and worse and worse leadership, the more you risk a situation where state failure is the consequence of state capture. So, and unfortunately, we are close to that. In the next 1 year, Nigerians will be asked to come and vote. Already, I'm telling you this, I'm coming from the north. I know many places where elected people can't visit their constituencies. People are very, very, very angry. They feel abandoned, they feel neglected, they feel cheated. People they voted to go to state capitals or to Abuja to represent them have abandoned them. And these legislators know, the governors know, people are angry. They can't go. So if these people are provided with an option to those who exercise power today, I assure you, they will vote for those other people. But look at what's going on. As we speak now, on my way here, I was phoning you to tell you the roads are blocked because there are people who are protesting against the attempts not to amend the Electoral Act in a manner that will improve the quality of the elections. So when leaders insist that we will not give the people the opportunity to actually choose leaders in the proper way, any leader, if any leader should support a credible election, it should be Tinubu.